Hello and welcome to the Spanner Lab. I'm Professor Spanner for anyone who hasn't been here before. Thanks for joining us, and everyone who's been here before and subscribed, thank you ever so much. We're on our way. Today we're going to look at the VFR RC36-2 from 1995 and specifically refurbishing the forks with new seals and dust covers. I'm just cleaning up my discs because obviously I've got my new wheels painted. So that's not done. This is one that's not been done. That's one that has been done. I'm going to loosen these fork top caps off while the forks are still on because they're currently held very nicely by all the clamps. So yeah, if I take them off, I've then got to find a way of holding the fork so that I can undo them. Why don't I just loosen them off now? So that's what I'm going to do. There is a little ring. Tiniest little thin little ring. Let's not lose you. There you are. Where is the opening of the ring? There it is. Wow, that's thin. Tiny little thing. That is what stops your handlebar. Put that there so we can lose it. No, I'm joking. We don't lose stuff here. Now I'm expecting that this will, pop off. Once I'd worked out that that little ring needed coming off the top to allow the fork, to allow the handlebars to come off, the clip-ons to come off, they came off. These dropped out fairly easy. Now, the suspension travels between there and there, and it needs no rust at all between there and there so that it can compress and decompress without ripping the seals to shreds, which will very soon cause it to leak its oil everywhere, which this has been doing. But these aren't looking good. These aren't looking good at all. But I'm on a budget, and this from there upwards is only cosmetic. The seals don't run that far up. Just put a well-fitting Allen key down the end of my fork to release that bolt, and it's rounded off. I'm not the first person to have done it, and as Tom Jones would say, it's not unusual. So I will be drilling the head off that Allen bolt and allowing the fork leg to drop down onto that. I've got this underneath so it doesn't just, well, I don't just drill that and then it's going to whack onto the floor. So it's only going to drop 2 inches onto that. So there is the munted Allen head, which I've just drilled off. And that is a relatively common thing. Not fun, but not the end of the world. Now, I have tried wriggling this little crap cover off with my fingers. And what I don't want to do is get a screwdriver in there. Aluminium's so soft. If you start prying things, you are going to mark your aluminium. So I'm going to show you something that I do. I hope that it's some use. It won't always work. I don't know. Maybe I will not edit this. Maybe it'll not be in if it doesn't work. But one thing we need to do is have plan A, B, C, D. So what I do is I use softwood, really soft wood. This is just a bit of pine. And I'm going to tap this black ring here off, okay? And I'm using soft pine because it won't mark the aluminium. And that worked well. Now I'm going to prise you out with a very thin screwdriver. There we go. That's you coming off. That's that. So that was holding the seal in. Never forget the order that things come off. So there is the internals. There is the bolt head that I drilled off. Oh lordy. Look at that. Or is it working? Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? There we go. Hey, there we go. So, okay, so that's called the stanchion, and this is called the leg. We've got, let's see how close you can see it. Okay, so there we go. You can see all that bubbling? That's under the paint, okay? So the paint's coming off, and that will be, that'll be my next. I will take the other fork to the same position and then get some paint stripper on these. To give this the best chance, let's tap it in. That sounds pretty well at the bottom. Now let's give you a twist. Oh, was that it? Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Okay, so you don't always lose. I've lost one, won one. So the last one, all the oil I spilt all over the towel that I was using. But with this one, I've learned. I'm like AI. Yeah, I'm like an AI mechanic. Cocked it up once and I'm learning. Slowly, very slowly. Dun dun dun. If you're going to do something that's going to take some time to work, do it before you go for your lunch. So in my case, we're going to use completely regular paint stripper. Okay. So I am just going to pop paint stripper all over this side of the fork leg. Oh, look at that. You can see it coming off already. Just going to show you that paint. Because the paint itself was silver and the fork leg underneath is silver, difficult to see the paint coming off unless you're very close. Can you see? There's just lovely aluminium underneath. There we go. Oh, there we go. That looks good. Okay. Very fine steel wool. That's it. I've got as much as the paint off as I'm going to. Give it a little bit of a rub with the steel wool. It's not finished, it's started. As Karen Carpenter would say, we've only just begun. So I'm not taking this engine out. I am going to clean the front of it, and I'm also doing this now because while this beautiful Chemtech Blitz aluminium cleaner is taking effect, I will be polishing up those forks. I've just turned the lights on, and I am going to show what this is like before I start, because it's just so easy to forget it. And I do it too often. You just go, oh yeah, I wish you could have seen it at the start, and then you'd know what a difference it had made. So there you go. That's what it looks like. I've just put a tiny bit on there where it's shining. Okay, we'll contrast that with how it looks at the end, eh? That'll do me. Don't forget to put that little thing back on. There's your forks. This is the old seal. I'm going to be pulling this off in a second, but I want to put that inside there, all the way up to the end, and then I wanted to put this back on. Now, that's got, don't lose or forget to put that copper washer on. That's a crush washer. That is to keep the oil inside your forks. It should also be replaced and brand new, or annealed so that it still doesn't leak. Okay, that's not tight enough. That is just to hold it together. So now we're going to turn it up the right way, and now I'm going to remove the old seal. One last check, and that's also reassuring. Just as I pulled that off, I can see that there are two ridges on the inside I'm looking at now, two ridges on the bottom and one ridge at the top, and that was something else that I'd noticed on the new seal. Two ridges on the bottom and one ridge on the top. Okay, so that's going across there, and there we go. That is on. Now this is where you use a seal driver to drive that seal into there, which is just a piece of tube, slides over the top of this, and is the right size. I don't have one. I'm going to make one. Dun dun dun! Got my seal in. The homemade seal driver, which, would you believe, is an exhaust coupler flange type thing. Anyway, that is in. So that's all good. I have this thing that now needs to go in there to keep the seal in. Push that in until you hear it click, which it did do. Give it a quick prod. Let's just check. Yep, that's in. And then we're going to put the new foil seal on top of that. And again, I'm just going to lubricate it with a bit of oil, just because I don't like anything going on dry. It's all over me. Okay, so that goes on there. was going to say, I think this will be hand tight. This is an important bit. Don't worry, it's not some more philosophical rubbish from me. This is the head that we drilled off, that was stuck, and then ended up getting munted with the Allen key, trying to get it out. Now what I'm showing you is the height of that head. And this is the height of the head of the screw that I've replaced it with. It's taller, okay? I've just noticed that it's taller, which means that it protrudes into path of the axle. Okay, so we've got to do something about that. Problem solved. The holes in the axles are different sizes. That one is a bigger hole than that one. So if you do have to drill one of your bolts out and do replace one of the bolts with just a stock standard aftermarket Allen head, which has a deeper head, just swap it over into the leg that has smaller hole so that it's got more clearance, and then put the good Honda one, if you've got one good Honda one, into the leg that has a larger hole. I'm just popping a tap just because I've got some paint in those threads, and it's only by hand. This is just to get the paint out, not to cut a new thread. I'm going to start closest to me. Such a satisfying noise. I've managed to do all of this with hand tools at home. It wasn't overly difficult. I haven't really worked out a difficulty rating yet, but if you follow me, you should be able to do it. I didn't struggle too much, I don't think. I deliberately don't cut a lot of the stuff out that I struggle with, because I want you to see that I've struggled, so that if you're struggling, you don't go, they made this look so easy. It is relatively easy, but I've done it a few times before on different bikes. All bikes have their own unique quirks, but this one is not overly difficult. They are not upside down forks. It looks great. I'm very happy with it.